Hello there, all you amazing people. I'm going to honestly talk about how it is to live with a Mac Mini with only 8 gigabytes. I've been trolling a little bit the last few months about 8 gigabytes is not that bad and it's the best ever. and the only time 8 gigabytes was letting me down was when I needed the good old chitterbaits and Pornhubs and stuff like that. But let's be a little bit more serious here and take evolve a little bit more than the monkeys that we are. Do I notice that I am only running 8 gig of RAM? Yes, I am. So let's take a week. How often do that happen? So let's say a week is 100% of my time. So how much of my time in a week do I notice that I'm only running 8 gig of RAM? About 5%. So when are those 5%? That is, like I jokingly about with the Chatterbait video, is that it's when I'm opening up a shit ton of fucking tabs on Chrome. That's the only time I am really feeling the limitation of 8 gigabytes. So I make shopping lists, I think you will call it. I have folders in my bookmark with things I would like to buy. I like to save up for things I want to check out. Maybe something I want to buy for videos and stuff like that. I might, upgrade my fucking lighting and stuff like that, which I really need to fucking get my hands around doing. And some of those folders have like 40, 50, 60 fucking pages in them. And when I start to open one folder with 20, another one with 30, one with 15, one with 50, it starts to fucking crap itself. Okay, but how often do I do that? Almost never. I do that kind of around the time you get paid, when I get my paycheck. Because then I'm like, of all of these things that I need in my life and I want in my life, let me look at it and be like, do I really need this? And then I'm starting to sorting shit out, Do I really need this? Or is it just something I would like? Yeah. Do I really want this? Maybe not. Do I need it? Nah. Out with it. You get what I'm saying here? And then I boil it down to like, okay, this month, what do I really, really, really need? What can I justify buying that I either want or desire, and etc., etc. That's kind of the only time that I do it. And at that time, yeah, I do feel that 8 gigabytes is limiting me. I have a 16 gigabyte coding desktop with 8 cores. I keep messing it up and say it's only 6 cores. It is actually 8. It's 4 physical, 8 hyper-threaded. And it's the same with that one. Sometimes around when the paycheck comes in, I'm about to sort out my shopping list, what you will call them. I open up like hundreds of tabs and it starts to crap out the same as my Mac Mini. Can it handle maybe 10 or 20 more tabs? Probably, but that's about it. The only time that never happens is on my gaming computer with a Ryzen 5 12-core system, 32 gig of RAM. I can open I've had like hundreds of tabs open on that one. But my gaming computer is almost twice the money. Let's say 50% more expensive than my Mac Mini. And that's the only benefit besides gaming, of course. But that's the only benefit I get from it from a useful, or my use over a week. That's the only benefit I get from running my Windows gaming computer, is that I can open up a lot of fucking tabs. So is it worth paying 50, 60% more just to have hundreds of tabs open? In my humble opinion, not really. So what do I do with my Mac Mini? Anything you do on your computer right now. I even game on it. I play Dismantle, I play Farming Simulator 2022, and all of them run to my satisfaction. Farming Sim is a little bit choppy here and there because I use a lot of add-ons, a lot of mods and stuff like that. I think that has something to do with it because the map that I'm playing, No Man's Land, is choppy on Windows also. It's sometimes just, I don't know if it's like a caching thing or shader thing, but sometimes when you're moving around, it will start a little bit, and it's done that on my gaming computer since it came out. It just does it more frequently on my Mac Mini. Can I run better graphics on my gaming computer? Of course I can. The Dismantle game runs maxed out on all my systems. My laptop, my Mac Mini, I think it's built for mobiles or something like that. It's actually a really good game. Yeah, I can play more games on my gaming computer. When I'm editing, I do this content creation shit with skies outside messing up my bad lighting in here. How is it to edit a 1440p 60Hz video on an entry-level Mac Mini with 8 gig of RAM? Again, I have tested my Mac Mini in DaVinci Resolve, not Studio, the normal free version of DaVinci Resolve, doing the same fucking shit on my Mac Mini versus my 12 core, 32 gig Windows computer. They are rendering my projects out almost identically. Depending on, of course, what I'm doing and what effects I'm using, if I'm using any effects or color corrections and stuff like that, the Mac may win or the Windows computer may win. How much do they win with? About maximum 30 seconds. Maximum. If I'm using, I tested out for like a month, I tested out Final Cut Pro. Yeah, that was massively better. And of course, I can't use that on my Windows computer. But you get what I'm coming at here with the editing. Do I feel stuttering, scrubbing through the timeline and stuff like that? No, it's actually smoother to edit on my Mac Mini than it is on my Windows machine. So the whole editing process is smoother. I don't get so much stuttering, if at all. Mostly not at all. I don't have to wait for it to catch up. All of that I have to do on Windows. Here's how you should look at it. For what I am doing, me, little fat old me, for what I am using my computing hardware for, besides my laptop, which I only like coding on. But for anything else I do with my computers, the Mac Mini is the cheapest, quietest, and most of the time fastest of them all. The only time the Mac Mini loses to my gaming computer is gaming. And it trade close with it in editing. The more cores I think is helping out my Windows computer there. It's just the core and also the clock speeds of the cores, because mine runs about 5.5 gigahertz or something like that. So it helps out a little bit. I think that's why I can keep up with it and change close with it. So I can do anything I can do on my Windows computer on my Mac Mini for cheaper, faster in most cases, less noisy, and less power draw. Does that mean you can do that? I don't know. Does that mean that your mom and dad, or your sister, your brother, your co-workers, your boss, your county can do that? I don't know. Because now we're going into a gray area that is user and situational dependent. And that's where you differentiate a professional versus a hobbyist. Because IT professionals will understand that. A hobbyist won't. Because they have never had to build, deploy, and buy hardware for other people than themselves or their immediate family. So just because I say that 8 gigabytes is fine for me, just because I can live with 8 gigabytes and have no real issue with it, just because I find it or can manage with a base entry level Mac Mini, don't mean you. There was a lot of I's in that conversation, that like paragraph I just talked about. And again, that's the difference between a professional and a stupid person. The professionals that know what they're talking about, they understand the I's. The stupid people don't. The stupid people hear it as, oh, so you're telling me that everyone can run a base Mac Mini with 8 GB of RAM? You're telling me that everyone should only run 8 GB of RAM? You're telling me that 8 GB of RAM is like the new 124 GB of RAM and nobody should actually buy more than 8 GB of RAM? That is what the stupid, unknowledgeable people are hearing. Anyway, long video out of here. See you all later. Don't get too angry. Bye-bye.